So you're a new player and you have finally reached this screen of the game. You have pulled 40 times on the ordinary recruitment banner and suddenly the game tells you to create a wish list. What the heck is that? There's 6,000 different Nikkes in the game right now and you're supposed to choose 20 Nikkes to put into your wish list? How are you going to do that? Today, as a veteran player, I'm going to give you a general direction as to which direction you can take your account in, making sure to get most of the OP characters, most of the fantastic Nikkes that will help you push campaign quickly, powerfully, fastly, easily, like a pro. And don't worry, I'll give a simple explanation as to why each Nikke is there and when you can sub out each of the Nikkes. So hopefully by the end of this video, you have enough information to make your own decisions as to when to substitute characters out of your wish list. First things first, this is the wish list. You click here and a screen of 20 different characters comes up. This one right here represents Ellesian. So the 5 characters that you choose over here have to be from the Ellesian company. Same goes for Wishlist. These are 5 Wishlist characters. Tetra, 5 Tetra characters. And finally this one, the Pilgrim and Overspec banner. It used to be that you only can pick 15 of these characters. If you get a character from either of these 2 classes, it's completely random. However, now that they have added it in, your consistency of getting good Pilgrim, good Overspec characters has went majorly up. Now, before talking about exactly which Nikkes you have to put on your revised wishlist, you will notice that my screen is slightly different from yours. Yours probably has something that looks a little bit like this. The bonus recruit banner right here is essentially an extra level of gacha that you can get SSRs from. Every 100 times you pull on the ordinary recruitment banner, you get 100 exchange points. And the 100 exchange points allows you to get either Litter, Naga, or Alice. Now, in most other games, these 3 characters are gonna probably be not very good characters. They're gonna be like mid characters that look good and keep you playing the game for a longer period of time. However, in Nikke Goddess of Victory, Litter, Naga, and Alice are all S tier characters. They are so freaking good, and you will want to get at least 1 copy of each of these Nikkes. However, as an extra level of like recommendation, I recommend you get 4 copies of each of these Nikkes because later in the game there's this thing called the 160 wall. And the 160 wall is a legendary difficult point in the game in which you have to get 4 copies of 5 different Nikkes. 4 copies of 5 different Nikkes so that you can level them up from 0 stars right here. This is just getting 1 copy of her, all the way to max limit break 3 stars. Now if you get more copies than 3 stars, you can go up to +7, which would be listed as max. But other than these 5 specific Nikkes, you really don't need extra copies of your Nikkes. Alright, so because this banner right here makes it easier to collect this, and this character, I recommend you aiming for these 3 characters to be 3 out of the 5 MLB characters in your lineup. And also, every day you should be pulling on this button. Once a day, you get to pull 1 character for half price. That means that every 30 days, every month that you play this game, you are saving 4,500 gems, which is significant and very, very, very useful early in the game. Alright, so first up, Ellesian. For Ellesian, the 5 characters that you probably want to set as your main 5 are Maid Mast, Maid Anchor, D Killer Wife, Privity Unkind Maid, and Phantom. These 2 characters are very, very powerful support characters. This one is a cooldown raid character. These 2 are DPS characters. For each of these characters, you're only going to need 1 copy of them for them to have the full skill kit. However, Maid Mast and Maid Anchor must go together. So for example, if you pull only Maid Mast and no Maid Anchor, Maid Mast alone is not that powerful. Same goes for pulling only Maid Anchor and not Maid Mast. Maid Anchor alone, not very powerful. The Killer Wife is a fantastic character, especially if you end up using Alice from Tetra and Red Hood from Pilgrims. Privity Unkind Mate is a fantastic shotgun character that goes well in the shotgun team. Now the shotgun team is a fringe team that requires a little bit of understanding of the game in order to get the full use out of it. Within the context of this guide, I am not gonna tell you go build the entire shotgun team. As much as I love the shotgun team, and the shotgun team in my opinion is the single most important team that is not crowned Siren in the game. She's a great character, but essentially if you want to fully maximize the use out of Privity Unkind Mate, you're gonna need to build a shotgun team, which is a topic for a different video. And finally, Privity Unkind Mate and Phantom are both DPS characters that you use for your burst tree. These are all not top tier DPS characters, but very respectable. Now, once you get into the game and you've been pooling and you pool one of these 5 characters, right? What you're gonna want to do is remove the character you pool. Let's say, for example, you got D Killer Wife. You're gonna want to remove her in place for Helm. Now, your copy of Helm is not gonna have this exact photo because I bought a skin for it, but just look for the name Helm right here and add her to your wishlist. Helm is a very powerful end game character. However, she's gonna need a little bit of resource management and require you to get multiple copies of the same character in order to fully maximize her power, until the point of time where you get Treasure Helm. Helm herself is like a mid-tier DPS character, but the moment you hit Treasure Helm, she becomes SSS tier, top tier, maximum end game, impossibly powerful character. If you need more information with regards to how to create a Treasure Helm, please click on the card that appears on the top right corner over here. This is your starting wishlist for Ellesian. For Missilist, the important characters are Tia, Litter, Naga, Ayn, Quincy Escape Queen. Just like Maid Mars and Maid Anchor from the Ellesian section, Tia and Naga are the equivalent top tier support characters in Missilist faction. Litter is the cooldown rate character equivalent to D Killer Wife from Ellesian, and these two are the DPS characters. Now, if you remember from before, from the bonus banner, this character right here is Litter, which is this character right here, and this character is Naga, which is this character right here. If you pull either Litter and Naga while doing your normal recruitment banner pulls, you don't want to remove them from the banner until you have 4 copies of them or until you have them max limit broken. Use the ordinary recruitment banner in conjunction with the bonus recruit event to get Litter and Naga to MLB status. However, once you get a copy of Tia or Ayn or Quincy, you can consider removing them from your wishlist. So for example, you remove these 2 characters. In that case, which characters do you want to add back into this pool? I recommend adding Drake because she has a special banner going on, and for the foreseeable future, as far as I know, this event is never going away. There's an event called Road to Villain, which gives you multiple copies of Drake as well as a lot of materials to upgrade your Drake or other characters. So using Drake in your ordinary recruitment banner will help you get to max limit break, aka 4 copies, very easily. You might want to consider getting a copy of Tove. Tove is a very special burst 1 character that excels at working with the shotgun team. In fact, within the context of the shotgun team, she is SSS tier, she's irreplaceable. Not even Litter, not even Siren, not even Rapi Red Hood can replace Tove within the context of the shotgun team. Grayscape is also pointing out that you can get a copy of Tove right now using silver mileage. You get 1 copy of silver mileage for every pull you do on the ordinary recruitment banner, and I agree with him, Tove is a perfect choice for a potential MLB character. Next up, Tetra. Within the Tetra context, I recommend getting a copy of Volume, a copy of the Bunny Twins, that's Blanc and Noir, a copy of Rouge, and a copy of Alice within your wishlist. Now, the relationship between Blanc, Noir, and Rouge is very special. Rouge is a top tier burst 1 character in the current electric meta of the game. And Rouge works perfectly with Blanc. Noir also works perfectly with Blanc. And Blanc on her own is unusable. To fully utilize Blanc, you need either a copy of Noir or Rouge in addition to your Blanc. But the moment you have one copy of either Noir or Rouge, you essentially can take both of these characters out of your banner already. That is the very peculiar relationship between these three characters. So think in your head that this is the character that you want to burst with. This is a fantastic burst too, but she needs either this or this character to work with her. So over time, as you pull the characters on the ordinary recruitment banner, you want to filter out the characters that you have one copy of within these three characters. So for example, you pull a copy of Rouge, you can take her out. You pull a copy of Noir, you take her out. Now, once you have 3 open slots in your Tetra wishlist, you will want to add either Bunny Soda, Leona, or even Brady into your wishlist. And here's why. Bunny Soda is a fantastic DPS shotgun character that will work with Leona. Leona is a fantastic burst 2 shotgun character that works in cases different from Blanc and Noir. Both of these 2 characters go into the shotgun team and they work very well. However, in the case of this last character, she is very useful in a very specific situation. The only time you want a copy of Brady is if you have made Mast and made Anchor. If you don't have made Mast and made Anchor, the only way to fully utilize Brady's skill kit is through this character called Crust. This one right here. And I'll just level with you, Crust sucks. Alright? She's the worst character in the game. Every time you see her, every time you use her, every time you see a friend talking about, hey wait, there's a weird lolly character in the game, tell them, Crust sucks. She's the most underpowered character in the 2025 release of Nikke Goddess of Victory. I don't understand why they made her so weak. I apologize. This is the fault of the developer team. I apologize on their behalf. Now that we've talked about those 3 other Nikkes, let's talk about Volume. Volume is a fantastic burst 1 Nikke that increases your crit damage and your crit rate. And she's fantastic not only for fighting bosses, but also in general campaign mode. And finally, Alice. The amazing thing about Alice is that she's a day 1 Nikke. From the day that Nikke was released, she has been in the game, and until now, she is still very potent. She's not top tier right now thanks to power creep as you would expect. However, Alice is a very powerful Nikke. The only downside of Alice is that Alice requires you to build her quite a bit. If you take a look at the skills that Alice has, they tend to become more and more efficient and more effective the higher level it goes to. Certain other characters' skill kits sort of reach a tapering point where it's like diminishing returns in terms of how effective their skill kits are, but Alice just keeps getting better and better at an exponential rate. You will have to learn how to gear her up. As my viewers are pointing out right now, you will need to learn how to gear them up properly, but Alice, even without gears, like pound for pound, is really very good. Not to mention, Alice is also the character in this banner right here, so getting 4 copies of her allows you to MLB and get over the 160 wall as fast as possible. Now finally, we have the Pilgrim Overspec wishlist section. For the Pilgrim Overspec, the choices are actually pretty simple. You want a copy of Siren, the best burst 1 in the game. You want a copy of Crown, the best burst 2 in the game. You want a copy of Rapi Red Hood, the best burst 3 that sometimes is also a burst 1 in the game. You want a copy of Cinderella, the highest DPS electric type Nikke in the game. And you want a copy of Red Hood. She does it all. She's a burst 1, she's a burst 2, she's a burst 3, she builds burst, she does damage, she heals herself. Red Hood does everything. So this is the selection of the characters you will want for your pilgrims. In fact, if you've been playing Goddess of Victory Nikke for less than 100 hours, the moment you pull any one of these characters on the ordinary recruitment banner, you probably can just stick them into your main campaign team and soar ahead like extra 1 or 2 chapters. They are that powerful. However, once you pull any one of these 5 characters, in place of whichever character you pull, you will want to add this character, Scarlet Black Shadow, to your wishlist. Do note that this version of Scarlet Black Shadow is not the base model. The base model will look like this. Alright, so you'll want to put her into your wishlist as well. After pulling another copy of another of these characters, you will want to add, probably the next strongest one is Mihara. After getting another one, you will probably want to add Scarlet to your wishlist. That is the order in which you want to add new pilgrims to your wishlist. So with regards specifically to the pilgrim, the moment you get one pilgrim, you will want to remove that pilgrim from your wishlist, because there are so many good pilgrims in the game, and having one copy is infinitely more than having 0 copies. That's mathematically true. So let's say you manage to pull a copy of Red Hood. You take her out, and then you will want to put Scarlet Black Shadow, the next most important Nikke, into the game. This character normally does not look like this. The base model for her looks like this, right here. After which, if you pull a copy of Siren, you might want to pull a copy of Dorothy. She's also a very fantastic burst 1 Nikke with cooldown rate abilities, distributed damage, and all in all, she's a fantastic Nikke as well. If you do pull a copy of Crown, you will want to replace Crown with a copy of Grave. Grave is a fantastic pierce damage supporter. And finally, if you get another of the burst 3 Nikkes, you might want to add a copy of Mihara Bonding Chain. Once you get those 9 Pilgrim / Overspec characters that I just mentioned, the rest of the Nikkes are not that important when it comes to solo raid or campaign story mode content. Alright, so there you have it. This is my recommendation for your first wishlist. Now keep in mind that with regards to Nikke Goddess of Victory story mode content, you're only going to use one team at a time. And because of that, burst ones, if you have a burst one, a really good burst one like D Killer Wife, Litter, Volume, Rouge, or Siren, the moment you have one of these, the urgency of getting another of the burst ones is not that big anymore. Similarly, if you have one of the top tier burst 2s such as Mast and Anchor, or Tia and Naga, or Blanc and Noir, or even Crown, then the urgency of getting a really powerful burst 2 is no longer there. And you can start focusing on trying to get like your really powerful burst 3s or your really powerful burst 1s. In the event that you find yourself in a situation where you basically have all 20 of these Nikkes and you're not really spoiled for choice when it comes to encountering your story mode content, and you're safely over the 160 wall, basically you can fall into 2 camps. Either number 1, keep searching up meta tier lists and just adding the highest tier characters into your wishlist, or number 2, waifu over meta. Just go into the game, choose whichever character looks nicest to you and go try to get a copy of her. I recommend just maximizing the amount of fun that you have playing the game. Alright guys, I hope this ultimate beginner's wishlist tutorial has been a fun watch for you. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave it in the comment section below. Please drop a like on this video because you know YouTube has updated its policy and now it's obsessed with engaged viewers rather than watch time. Therefore, without your likes, comments and subscribes, this channel is going into the dumps, straight into the outer rim. So please help a brother out. Until next time, DJ and Lord Jasper's Deck signing off. Good night.
Jiggle physics, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle physics, jiggle, 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 jiggle physics, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle physics.